know what? I think this is a massive distraction. I think there might be an unholy trinity. You know that I think that there's only actually one government now. There's no opposition and there's no government.
That's another Ofcom complaint.
Oh, sorry about that.
Have that one on me. If that guy from the Radio 3 is watching Matthew Sweet, that's our bonus for you tonight.
There you go. So I'm of the opinion that the whole thing's been set up. This is my opinion. And I think we've got a bit of good cop, bad cop 27 going on here. We've got Boris Johnson saying, oh, well, you know, this and do the reparations. We've got Rishi not saying anything. We've got Ed Miliband coming up with this nonsense in the first place. Anyone would think it was a bit of a distraction, you know, from what's actually going on over there, which is a massive annihilation of everything that we've ever thought, you know, was normal life. But
yeah, I mean, I think that's actually a very good point, is that when everybody, I mean, I made the mistake of tuning into the BBC a couple of hours ago.
That, Mark.
And they had their 37 climate correspondents. I mean, just their carbon footprint in covering the COP27 is phenomenal. But I was looking at it and I was thinking, yeah, that your point is quite good, that the reason all this stuff is suddenly in the news all day long is because they don't want us talking about the stuff that isn't in the news.
Well, no, then they can drop the reparations thing. Rishi looks like he's being a good Tory because he listened to Boris. He's obviously the de facto sort of shadow prime minister or whatever at COP27, which is very, very weird in itself. And we think, oh, that's OK, then just annihilate our economy. Let's push forward the whole concept of anti-capitalism. Let's have no life. Let's all freeze in our homes, but at least we're not paying the reparations. They must think we're thick.
Well, they do in a way, don't they? Because for, 2 or 3 years now, we've put up with things that no British subject in the primitive world of, say, 1873 would have entertained for a second, like being told that you can't sit more than 15 minutes on a park bench. I mean, they have learned, they think we've been taught to obey.
We have been taught to obey, but it's quite interesting what you were saying about the peasants need to revolt rather than the peasants are revolting, which means something completely different entirely. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. People do need to wake up and see what's happening. But I have people contacting me constantly and say, OK, but what do we do? You know, what is it that we actually do? You know, I talked to you before about net exit, which is the thing that I'm pushing at the moment. And we're going to be hearing a lot more about this. So pushing for a referendum. They did it on Brexit. We got David Cameron to start behaving himself and give us a referendum. And Nigel got that through. So maybe there is some scope there. But Greta Thunberg has totally showed her hand now. She said we've got to get rid of this capitalist and racist West. She's not even pretending it's about the planet anymore. And when you've got King Charles, who's supposed to be completely out of politics, who's making £8 billion a year from offshore wind farms.
Are you kidding me? How much is he making?
It will be £8 billion. And actually, the revenue's a lot higher than that. It's 32 billion, but he gets 25%. Now, I don't mind that. That's fine. But you've got to declare an interest, especially if you've made a decision to not stay out of politics, but to be getting actively involved, hosting dinners for Stella McCartney and Rishi Sunak. I mean, how's that staying out of politics? It's disgraceful.
Yeah, actually, that is a. Do you think this is what people want in their king?
No, I don't. And I think that's why there was absolute dismay when the Queen died, because it wasn't just about her. Everyone loved her. I loved her. It was about the end of an era of impartiality and of certain views and of certain traditional values. And that funeral, I was crying. I was crying for her, but I was also crying for the death of what I consider to be Britain. I hope I'm not true. I hope I'm not right. I hope it's not true.